nomadic tribe in her time, meaning there's a group of people that moved around. And she's comparing her skin to their characteristic color of their fabrics, right? As well as to the dressings of King Solomon's palace, right? So she's saying when she rolls up in the palace, when she sees this palace, she sees these beautiful, beautifully colored curtains, and they are black like her. So what is she really saying? She's really saying, in other words, my skin color is one of distinction and nobility. I am fabulous, in other words, and I look like some of the most amazing things that you've seen. If you go see the king's palace, it is adorned beautifully, and I am the same way. When I look at my skin, when I look at who I am, I see that kind of beauty. We don't know much about her heritage or her people because not much is said in the Bible about that. However, we are left to take heart in her bold act of self-assertion, and this is a quote from Renita Weems. Self-assertion in description. She says, she speaks up for herself. She is the object of her own gaze. She is, by her own estimation, black and beautiful. So in other words, many times in the scriptures, when women are discussed, it's through somebody else's lenses, right? But she's the one woman that gets to say for herself who she is. She doesn't let anyone else determine that. But how is it that you can know that you're beautiful? Well, you were created by an awesome God. And it's not because you have pretty hair, which you may, and it's not because you have flawless skin, and you might. It's not because you have the right curves in the right places or you're the right weight, but it is because you were created by God. Psalm 139 says, for you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. So at the end of the day, you can feel good about who you are and how you look, about that melanin that's popping in your body because God says so. It's just that simple. You are beautiful because God says so. Your beauty has nothing to do with the way you physically look. Your beauty is not based on how attractive people think you are and how what anybody external to you has to say about how you look. You can thank God for your beauty because it has nothing else to do with what anybody else thinks. Notice that she doesn't wait for anybody to ask how she looks. She just applies that information and she puts everybody on notice. I am black and I am beautiful. Right? And so this is the second thing that she does. She has a confidence and a boldness, and she sort of speaks to herself about how fabulous she is. But at the same time she's telling herself how fabulous she is, she's also letting everybody else know just how fabulous she is. Notice how confidently she does this. This is important because when you get ready to date and go into relationships, you don't want to wait for somebody else to tell you that you're fabulous, right? You need to roll up in that thing already knowing how fabulous you are. And you know this because God has created you. Any and everything that God has created is good. End of story. Period. That's it. There's no further discussion of it. When we look at the video we saw today, would we say that that school was trying to tell that little boy he wasn't beautiful? Maybe not. When they wrote that policy, is that what they were thinking? We don't know. But we do know we live in a world that's often hostile to anything that is black. Anything, frankly, that is non-white. And so we know that sometimes that thinking creeps in to how people do their jobs, the policies they write, the rules they make, all that kind of stuff. And so we get to decide for ourselves that that's not who we are and that is not the story that we're going to believe about ourselves. And so it's important that you embrace this same kind of attitude and decide for yourself, I am not what people say I am what God says I am. And I noticed in the video too, to me, I like how the father handled it. Not only did he not go slap off, right, and clown all up and through that school, but he also removed his son immediately. Give me the withdrawal form, right? Because regardless of what your intention was in this policy, I'm not going to let my son believe that he's less than because you don't like how he looks. He deserves to be educated in a supportive, loving, nurturing environment that celebrates who he is. And I think my heart breaks quite a bit because this was a Christian school. That really bothered me, right? Because in our Christian context, we ought to be celebrating everybody, because everybody is a gift of God. Everybody is a blessing. And anywhere you go, you got to know that's who you are. You are a blessing. Anytime you show up in a spot, know that you bring all of your richness, your greatness, not only your history, but your future, everything you are. It is a blessing. We are grateful for each and every one of you at UIndy. You help to give purpose to this place. You are the reason many of us get out of bed every morning. It is a blessing that we get to be here with you and serve you, because you are awesome, you are beautiful, you are fabulous, and you help make everything better, right? You help make everything better because you are a child of God. And it's so important that you really begin to believe this deep down in your soul. Why? Because God has a purpose for your life. Sister Girl told us about that last week, right? That there is a purpose. We don't understand all the things that we go through, but we know that God has a plan for our lives. When God created you, God was thinking about something, gave you your unique set of gifts and talents and interests, and you were able to have this experience and that prepared you for the next moment, for the next moment, and for the next moment. And even right now, God is working out your story. And it's so important that you don't let negative messages about who you are deter you from where you are going. There is something you are supposed to do in this world. There's something you're supposed to do on this campus. It's not even, sometimes we think about purpose as this big thing that hasn't happened yet. You know, when I finish college and I get the job and I make the money. But God is using you right now. There's ways in which you light up the spaces that you enter and make them better. So your quest is to make sure that you speak positively to yourself. The song says, sometimes you have to encourage yourself, right? You gotta speak some life into yourself in your situation. So if you wake up sometimes not sure that you feel so good, and we have those days, you know, you ever look in the mirror, you're like, my hair look a hot mess today, right? Or I don't know what this face is doing on today, right? Oh my God, this belly today. We have all of these feelings that come up, but I want us to learn how to affirm ourselves. Now, girlfriend in the book, Nicole, said, in the text says, I am black and beautiful like the tents of Kedar and like the curtains of Solomon. As we transition into our response moment, I want you to develop your own affirmation statement. Think for a minute, how would you describe you? If you really believed all the things God said about you, that you are the head and not the tail, that you have a purpose, that you have talents and gifts, that God was happy when God created you, that when God made you, God looked at you and said, wow, she is good. Wow, he is good. So how would you describe yourself? I am black and beautiful like the tents of Kedar. Maybe you won't say that, but you would say something. So take those pencils out. You should have got a pencil coming in. If not, they'll pass them around. And get your bulletin out. And in the section, there should be a note section in there. And I want you to use that format. Crystal, if you could pull that text up. And you can use that format if you like. But I don't know what it is you need to tell yourself. Maybe you need to tell yourself you're beautiful. Like this or like that. Or maybe you need to tell yourself, I'm intelligent. What is that insecurity that's working on you? Trying to convince you that you're not everything God says you are. What's that? Only you know. What are those negative thoughts you have rolling around?